दयापात्रङ्गुणान्वितः कौशिकोऽनन्तरङ्गार्यश्रुतं विजेतां भुवि यस्तात्मीयभ्रमवरप्रदकुरो वैराग्यभाग्यो रसो वेदान्तां प्रसारं तमनघात् श्रीश्रीनिवासात् गुरोः श्रीशैलान्वयकौस्तुभस्यतरें श्रेयोनिधे श्रीनिधेः वन्दे साधुकटाक्षिकेणे श्रीकृष्णसद्देशिकं श्रीनारायणयोगीन्द्रवरदारिकृपाश्रयं रङ्गेशपादविरतं श्रीनिवासमुनिं भजे। यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तरितराणितनायमे यस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य देशिकविन्दोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शुक्लं प्रपद्ये। व्यासं युक्तेः पौत्रमकल्मषम्बराजरात्मजं वन्दे एकदातं तपोनिधिं पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन कृतितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भगवद्वेषिणीम् पदाम्बोरुहत्यानुविघ्नस्ताशेषकल्मषाः वस्तुतामुपयातोऽहं यमुने नमामि तम्। सुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। श्रीकृष्णपरब्रह्मणे नमः। Offering my pranamams to all the Bhagavatas in this satsanga, I shall resume the next session. So in the last class we studied the 12th shloka of the 3rd chapter. Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha dasyante yajnabhavitaha tair dattan apradayayibhyo yo bhunkte tena eva saha. The gods who are thus worshipped through the performance of sacrifices will bestow upon you all the desired fruits, but if one enjoys the fruits thus given for purposes of worship without offering to the gods, he will become a thief only. So in this prakarana it is Paramapurusha directly. So the same meaning is going to be explained further in more detail in the next shloka, 13th shloka. Yajnashishtashinas santo muchyante sarvakilbishaihi bhunjate te tvagam papaha ye pachanti atmakaranat. The Anvaya is Yajnashishtashinah santaha sarvakilbishaihi muchyante ye papaha atmakaranat pachanti etu agam bhunjate. That is the Anvaya. Yajnashishtashinah santaha, those who carry on their living by partaking what is left over after offering to the Lord in sacrifices. Santaha also means sadhu purushas, who always live, with by taking the prasada, that is the food which is left over after offering to the Lord. Sarva kilbishaihi muchyante. They will get rid of all blemishes that are being accumulated from beginningless time and which are opposed to attaining the vision of the individual self. Sarva kilbishaihi muchyante. Ye papa atmakaranat pachanti. Those sinners who cook food given by the Lord for his worship through the gods for selfish needs and eat that, te to agham bhunjate, they eat sin only, meaning they cook food for attaining hell only, being turned away from realizing the self. The gist is those who live only by partaking what is left over after offering to the Lord will get rid of all their accumulated sins, which is stopping them from realizing the individual self. But those use all the things given to them for worshipping the Lord for their own selfish needs will only go to hell, being turned away from realizing the self. They eat sins in the sense that they eat food not offered to the Lord, and so it becomes the cause of sin, and hence it's called sin itself. That is the meaning of the shloka. The Bhashya for that commentary is Tadeva Vivirnoti Indradhyatmana avasthita parama purusharadhanarthataya eva dravyani upadaya vipachya तैहि यथावस्थितं परमपुरुषमाराध्य तच्छिष्टाशनेन ये शरीरयात्रां कुर्वते ते तु अनादिकालोपार्जितैः किल्बिषैः आत्मयाथात्म्य अवलोकन विरोधिभिः सर्वैः मुच्यन्ते। ये तु परमपुरुषेण इन्द्राद्यात्मना स्व आराधनाय दत्तानाम् आत्मार्थतया उपादाय विपच्य अश्नन्ति ते पापात्मानः अघमेव भुञ्जते। अघ परिणामित्वात् अघमिति उच्यते। आत्मावलोकन विमुखा नरकाय एव पच्यन्ते। That is a Bhashya. Tadeva virunoti, that itself is being explained. What was told in the previous shloka is again being explained further in more detail. Indradi atmana avasthita paramapurusha aradhanarthataya eva dravyani upadaya vipachya. So Bhagavan is Sriman Narayana, who is the Lord, Paramapurusha, is existing as Antaryami. Even in everything and in gods such as Indra, Agni, Varuna, etc., who are actually worshipped in the sacrifices or yajnas, and he is present as the Antaryami, Indradi Atmana Avasthita, Paramapurusha Aradhanarthataya. So only for the purposes of his worship, Dravyani Upadaya Vipachya, that is bringing all the things that are required for performing the yajna, sacrifice, the aradhana, and vipachya, cooking food for offering to the Lord. Taihi yathavasthitam paramapurusham aradhya. So preparing the food which is offered as havis in the yajnas for the purpose of the worship of the Lord. Taihi yathavasthitam paramapurusham aradhya. This is a very important word in the Bhashya. Yathavasthitam paramapurusham. So realizing that Paramapurusha is present as the Antaryami in all these gods, with that idea one has to worship that Chishtashanena ye sharirayatram kurvate. After offering to the Lord what is left over, with that those who live or carry on their life like that or maintain their body like that, te tu anadikalo uparjitaihi kilbishaihi, anadikala uparjitaihi. From beginningless time, whatever has been accumulated, all those sins, kilbishaihi, atmayathatmya avalokana virodhibihi sarvaihi mutyante. Those which are blocking the realization of the self, and they will get rid of all those things. Yetu paramapurushena indradhyatmana swa aradhanaya. Those Paramapurushena Indradhyatmana Swa Aradhanaya Dattanam, that is, whatever is given through Indra, Varuna, Agni and all these gods in those sacrifices or yajnas, they are all given by the Lord, Paramapurushena Swa Aradhanaya. It's given for the purpose of his worship only. Atmarthataya Upadaya Vipachya Ashnanti. Those who bring it, collect all the things and they cook food and without offering to the Lord, they take it for their own selfish purposes. They papatmanaha aghameva punjate. They are sinners and they eat, they verily eat sins only. That is told. That is agha parinamitvad aghamiti uchyate. That is, whatever their life will be caused by those sins, and they are going to accumulate more sins. So atma avalokana vimukha narakaya eva pachante. So being turned away from self-realization, they only go to hell, is the meaning of the Bhashya. Some explanations for this from Tatparya Chandrika. So Tadeva Vivrunoti is, this sloka is not a punarukti. So the same thing what is told earlier is being explained further. So there is no repetition, punarukti dosha or anything like that. The first half of this sloka explains the meaning of Shreyaha Paramavapsyatha. And the second half explains the part Tair Dattan Apradayebhyo Yobhumtes Tene Evasaha. So it is further explanation of the previous shloka is also being shown here. Indradhyatmana avasthita paramapurusha aradhanarthataya eva. The avadharana eva here stresses that it is not for either mere Indra and other gods or for selfish purposes, but only for the sake of Paramapurusha Aradhanartha. That is for the purposes of worshipping of the Lord, of the Supreme Lord, who resides as the inner self of Indra and other gods also. So that also shows that whenever there is the mantras, Veda mantras are all addressing Indra, Varuna, it has to be done like that only, but with the idea that the Supreme Lord is existing as the Antaryami. So even in Sandhya Vandana and all that, we pray to Mitra Varuna Imamme Varuna Shrudhi Havam Madhya Cha Vridaya Tvama Bhasyura Chake. All this we tell. So Varuna Mitra Mitrasya Charshani Dhritaha. So we tell these gods, but we have to have an idea that the Supreme Lord is existing as the inner self of all the gods, and we are actually worshipping the Supreme Lord. That idea should be there in one's mind. That is how it should be done. Dravyani upadaya vipachya. So Paramapurusha Radhanarthaya eva Dravyani upadaya vipachya. So that Avadharana eva is also applicable to Upadana and Pachana, everything. That is the show that while earning the things also one should have an idea that I am earning all these things to do the sacrifice, which is the worship of the Supreme Lord. I am cooking food to offer to the Supreme Lord. So every step one should have that idea. Taihi yathavasthitam paramapurusham aradhya. So the Mula Shloka simply says, Ye pachanti atmakaranat, telling that it should not be done for one's own purpose. The word yathavasthitam paramapurusham in the Bhashya indicates that while worshipping mere Indra and other gods, one should have the idea that Supreme Lord is present as the inner self. Even though if one worships Indra and other gods, is worship of the Supreme Lord only, because He is present always in I think there is some network disturbance. I'm getting disconnected again and again a couple of times. Hopefully it should be all right now. So te tu anadikala uparjitaihi kilbishaihi atmayatha atmya avalokana virodhibhihi sarvaihi vimuchyante. So here the word yat shabda and tat shabda, that is ye sharira yatram kurvate te anadikala uparjitaihi, like that. That is the anvaya, ye and te. So the first part of the shloka has two sentences. It is known from the Shastra that when food is offered to the Lord and then it is consumed, the leftover is consumed, one gets rid of sins accumulated due to all the sins, not only the panchasunas. There are what is known as panchasunas, that is 5 kinds of sins that one accumulates due to pounding, rinsing, cooking of grains, etc. Whatever we cook food for offer to the Lord. So it is told that Kandani, Peshani, Chulli, Udakumbhi, Chamarjani, Panchasuna Grihastasya, Tabihi, Swargam Navindati. That is separating the chaff, filtering, grinding, baking in the oven, boiling in water. So we do all those things when we are preparing food even for the Lord. But we don't know how many living beings we are either torturing or killing in that process. There could be so many jivatmas unknown to us in all these grains and all those things. So they are called panchasunas. One accumulates that kind of sins. So here sarvaihi vimuchyante kilbishaihi, what is told is not only that kind of sins accumulate, but also all the sins that are accumulated from beginningless time is indicated, and that is only which are blocking the performance of means. So there are two types of blocks, that is, one is upaya virodhi, one is prapti virodhi. So here it is talking about upaya virodhi, that is what is blocking us from continuing with the means for attaining the vision of the self. The prapti virodhi has to be got rid of through bhakti yoga later. Here the objective is to attain the vision of the individual self and then to proceed to bhakti yoga. So here it is upaya virodhi. Whatever sarvaihi vimuchyante, muchyante sarva kilbishaihi is mainly sarva has to be applied to upaya virodhi. That is, in achieving whatever is blocking one in achieving the vision of the individual self. So that is also told that jnanam utpadyate pumsam kshayat papasya karmanaha yatha adarshatala prakhye pashyati atmanam atmana. In Bharata, Mahabharata Moksha Parva, jnanam utpadyate pumsam kshayat papasya karmanaha. When the sins are, one gets rid of the sins, then there will be jnana will come, knowledge will arise. Yeah, as though, when one cleans the mirror, one is able to see. That way, when the sins are got rid of, then one will be able to realize the self in the mind. Pashyati atmanam atmana. So that is the sins blocking the prapti are got rid of by bhakti yoga. So other part is the other part, which is upaya virodhi, is indicated here in atmayatha atmya avalokana virodhibihi kilbishaihi. It is made clear in the commentary that the kilbishas are blocking atmayatha atmya avalokana. That is the means, that is the upaya virodhi. And after that only bhakti yoga can be even started. So by this the samsarika punyas accumulated, which are also opposed to one gaining the vision of the individual self, are also included in the word kilbishaihi. Any punyas and other things are also included because they are also blocking one from attaining the vision of the self. So punyas such as swarga, etc. are also blocking one from attaining the vision of the self. And so they are also to be got rid of. The word uparjita is also significant here. It shows that this is not talking about a bhakti yogi. For a bhakti yogi, the uttaragha, that is the sins which may come due to accidental mistakes, will not taint him, a bhakti yogi. It is told in the Brahma Sutra, Uttara Purvaghayoho Ashlesha Vinashav is told. That is Uttaragha and Purvagha, Ashlesha, Vinasha. That is, Purvagha gets destroyed, Vinasha. Uttaragha is Ashlesha, it does not taint. So the aghas, that is the sins which are done, that is pramadika vishaya, that is accidentally. So a bhakti yogi, if he does some accidental mistakes, it will not taint one. So that is, it is not the uparjita, that is why applies only to the karma yogi or a jnana yogi during that time. So it is not talking about bhakti yogi, is also observed here. So ये तु परमपुरुषेण इंद्रादि आत्मना स्व आराधनाय दत्तानाम आत्मार्थतया upadaya vipachya ashnanti. Atmartha, the Mula shloka is Atma Karanat. The word Karana means that it is the Atma Karana means it is not the cause of the Atman itself, but Atmarthataya is made clear in the commentary. Atmarthataya, that is Prayojana Rupa Hetu. It is the cause is Prayojana Rupa, for the purposes of self. That is the meaning of Atma Karanat. Upadaya vipachya ashnanti te papatmanaha aghameva bhunjate. The Mula shloka again says ye pachanti atma karanate. So one may get a doubt that if only simply somebody cooks food, why should it be a sin? So the word atma karanat shows it is cooking for one's consumption and not simply cooking and stopping there. Hence they are told as papatmanaha. So that means papa swabhavaha. The word papaha is to be taken by tadgunasara nyaya. That is, because it causes papa, and so they are called papaha itself. They themselves are called papaha. That means those who are accumulating the papa swabhava, who have by nature have the nature of only doing sins or accumulating sins, etc. They are called papaha here. Agha parinamitvat aghamiti uchyate. That indicates the meaning of agam bhunjate is the cause of the sin. Agha parinamitvat. And atmavalokana vimukaha narakaya eva pachante. That is, those who prepare food for selfish needs alone will get two kinds of anishtas. They will be turned away from attaining vision of the individual self. That is the first thing, because the sins committed earlier are not destroyed for them. Those who prepare food for selfish purposes, their sins are not destroyed, so they will be turned away from attaining the vision of the self. Secondly, this also becomes the cause of sins in future, and they will only go to hell. So this is told in Shruti also as Kevala agho bhavati kevaladi, kevalagha bhavati kevaladi. That is, without offering to the Lord, one who eats will only commit sins and will only be accumulating sins. So such a person will never get any happiness either here or in other worlds. That is told in the Shruti also. So that is the explanation of the previous shloka in little more detail, that Yajna Shishta Ashana is so important, and those who do that will get rid of all their kilbishas which are blocking them from attaining the vision of the individual self, that is Atma Yathatmya Avalokana, and they will be able to complete the means. That is how they have to actually do the living. Sharira Yatra has to be done only like that, is told. Continuing further, in 3 shlokas, the Anna Chakra is told. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anna sambhavaha. Yajñāt bhavati parjanyaha yajñaha karma samudbhavaha. The importance of performing the yajna, the sacrifices, paramapurusha aradhana, is told with a lot of detail here. Annāt bhavanti bhutani parjanyāt anna sambhavaha yajñāt bhavati parjanyo yajñah karma samudbhavaha. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahma akshara samudbhavam. Tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajñe pratishtitam. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartatiha yaha aghayuhu indriyaramo mogam partha sajivati. These 3 shlokas are commented upon together by Bhashyakarar. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhavaha yajñat bhavati parjanyo yajñaha karma samudbhavaha. The Anvaya is annat bhavanti bhutani bhavanti. The bodies of being are formed from food. Anna. Parjanyat Anna Sambhavaha. Food is created from rains. Parjanya is cloud, but the rains which is the effect of the clouds. Yajnat Parjanyo Bhavati. The clouds are formed from yajna, sacrifices that are done. Yajnaha Karma Samudbhavaha. Sacrifice happens from karma of the nature of earning things and such actions. Karma is, that is a sense here. All the activities that one does to collect the things, to bring the things, and to perform the sacrifice, the yajna, and all those things, all those activities are called as karma here. Karma Brahmodbhavam Vidhi. Actions such as earning are all due to Brahma. The meaning of Brahma is material body here, Sharira. Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam. The body is obtained through the individual self. Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma. So the body which is present in all the eligible ones, Nityam Yajne Pratishtitam, is always having sacrifice as the root cause. Evam Pravartitam Chakram, the cause-effect cycle, that is a circle, that is like a chakra, which is thus brought into existence by the Supreme Lord. Yaha na anuvartayati. Yaha, the one who does not follow during the performance of means, Partha, Hey Arjuna, Saha Aghayuhu, he becomes one who lives eating food without offering to the Lord, and his life will be full of sins only. Indriya Ramaha, so he will only have joy in the pleasures, in enjoying the pleasures of the senses, and will not be interested in attaining the knowledge of the individual self. Moham Jivati, even though he tries to achieve such knowledge, he will not be able to, and his life will be wasted. Mogha is, it is a vyartha, that is, it will be wasted. So the gist is something like this. Living beings, so these shlokas are commented upon in our Bhashya, in our Siddhanta, in a very unique way. There is no other commentator has given this sort of meanings for the words here, which is very, very unique to our Siddhanta. So the gist is that Bhashyakara says the living beings, that is Bhutani, means Sajiva Sharira, that is Jivas with a body, are called as Bhutas here. Bhuta is Sajiva Sharira, that is a person, a living being with a body. And they are formed by food. Food itself is grown from rains, and rains happen due to sacrifices that are performed. The sacrifices are a collection of actions performed by a doer. It's made of all activities which are performed by the doer. And such actions are all done by a jiva who is having a body, an individual self with a body. And the body with the jiva is again due to food, that is grown and it exists, it comes into existence, it grows, all this because of the consumption of food. And thus we see that the entire cycle, it is the duty of all to promote this cycle and to maintain it. One who does not do so, being involved in consuming food which is not offered to the Lord and which is cooked only for selfish purposes, such a person will only accumulate sin, and his entire life will be wasted, as he will be only steeped in the enjoyment of sensual pleasures and will be turned away from the thought of individual self. So that is the gist of the three shlokas. So there is a detailed bhashya for this. Punarapi loka drishtya shastra drishtya cha sarvasya yajnamulatvam darshayitva yajnanuvartanasya avashya karyatam ananuvartane doshancha aha. So what was told as yajnashishta ashinasantaha muchyante sarvakilvishaihi and all that one has to perform yajna, the sacrifices, and offer to the Lord and then partake the food which is left over. And one has to be doing such sacrifices, yajnas, the importance of performing those yajnas and continuing, that is being told here. And if one does not do that, what is the defect that what are the sins that one will be subjected to, is also being told here. So, loka drishtya, shastra drishtya cha sarvasya yajnamulatvam, that is, everything is having its root in the yajnas, in sacrifices, is being explained from 2 points of view. One is from the loka drishti, that is what can be seen or experienced and known from here. Another is Shastra Drishti, that is that which we cannot see or know it directly here, but we can know it from the Shastras. And to those, by this Loka Drishti and Shastra Drishti, one can know that everything is Yajna everything is established in Yajnas, and that is why one has to continue and perform these Yajnas. And if you do not, one does not do that, what is the defect is also being told. That is being explained in explaining the entire cycle. Annat sarvani bhutani bhavanti parjanyacha anna sambhavaha iti sarvaloka sakshikam. This is the commentary for the first sloka. Annat bhavanti bhutani. So annat sarvani bhutani bhavanti parjanyacha anna sambhavaha iti sarvaloka sakshikam. That is, it is directly seen by everyone. That is annat sarvani bhutani bhavanti. Everybody lives on food. And parjanyacha anna sambhavaha, from the clouds, rain-bearing clouds which cause the rains, from that only the food is grown, is sarvaloka sakshika. That is directly seen by everyone. Yajnat parjanyaha iti cha shastrena avagamyate. But what is not known directly is that the performances, the yajnas which are conducted, they cause the clouds. That is, they are the cause for the clouds. Yajnat parjanyaha. And from there only one gets the rains. So that is shastrena avagamyate. And there is a pramana for that. Agnau prastahutihi samyak adityam upatishthate adityat jayate vrishtihi vrishterannam tatah prajaha. Is being told in Brahma Purana as well as in Manusmriti, both the pramana, both the places. So Agnau prastahutihi, the offering made in Agni, according to the Shastra, samyak prastahutihi. That means according to the Shastras, whatever is offered to Agni in the sacrifices, Adityam upatishthate, it reaches Aditya, the sun. And Adityat jayate vrishtihi, from the sun god, rains happen. Vrishtehe annam tataha prajaha, from the rains, food is grown, and from that prajaha, the living beings, their bodies and all are maintained. So, ityadina, that is the pramana that Bhashyakara is giving. Yajnascha dravyarjanadi kartra purusha vyapara rupa karma samudbhavaha. Yajna karma samudbhavaha is special meaning given here. Karma is dravyarjanadi kartrika purusha vyapara rupa. That is, the person who does dravya is bringing all the things, etc. arjana for performing the sacrifice, the paramapurusha aradhana. That all those activities done by the person who is the doer, kartru purusha vyapara rupa karma samudbhavaha. From that only it is possible to do the performances. Karma brahmodbhavam, from that the karma brahmodbhavam, that is Brahma here is the body. It is not Brahma may mean different things in different places. But here the meaning Brahma, meaning of Brahma given, very special meaning given by Bhashyakara is that it is Sharira. So that is made clear. Atracha Brahma Shabda Nirdishtam Prakriti Parinama Rupam Shariram. It is the modification of the Prakriti, the matter, which is the body. And there is also a Pramana, Tasmad Etad Brahma Nama Rupam Annancha Jayate. In Shrutis, Brahma is used in different meanings. In Shankara Bhashya, the meaning given for Brahma is Veda, and in Madhva Bhashya it is given as Paramapurusha, Vishnu itself. Whereas in our Bhashya it is Sharira, Prakriti Parinama Rupa Sharira. That is the meaning given. And Tasma, and for that also there is a usage in Shrutis, Bhashyakara is quoting here. Tasmad etat Brahma, Nama Rupa Mannancha Jayate in Mundakopanishad. Itihi Brahma Shabdena Prakritihi Nirdishta. Prakriti is being told there. Tasmat means from that Supreme Lord. Etat Brahma, this matter, Nama Rupam Annamcha Jayate. The Anna having name and form are all created, is told in Mundakopanishad. So that is a Pramana. Ihapi, even in Bhagavad Gita it is seen that Mamayonir Mahat Brahma, Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham. The word Brahma is used for Prakriti. Even here, the Prakriti which is Mahat is mine and the cause of the entire world. So I use that as the Upadana Karana for creating the world and all Lord is telling. So that is in Bhagavad Gita it also is there Mamayonihi Mahat Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham. So that pramana also Bhashyakara is quoting to say that Brahma is, the meaning of Brahma is Prakriti Parinama Rupa Sharira here. Ataha karma brahmodbhavam iti Prakriti Parinama Rupa Sharirodbhavam karma ityuktam bhavati. So performing the yajnas is through activities, and those activities are possible because of having a body, all the senses and things like that. So Prakriti Parinama Rupa Sharirodbhavam karma. The activities which are possible because of the having the body, that is told as karma brahmodbhavam. Brahma akshara samudbhavam ityatra akshara shabda nirdishto jivatma. Brahma akshara samudbhavam. The Brahma, what is told as Sharira, is akshara samudbhavam, means akshara is the here telling jivatma, the individual self. Annapanadina trupta akshara adhishtitam shariram karmane prabhavati. So how is that possible also is being explained by in the Bhashya. The Annapanadina trupta akshara adhishtitam shariram, the body which is grown or satiated by consuming all the food and drinks, etc. And from that, and that body which is supported by the self, individual self. Akshara adhishtitam, that means supported by the self which is called as akshara here. Such a body, shariram karmane prabhavati. So if the jivatma is not there, a dead body cannot act. So a body, when it is able to act, it has to be supported by a jivatma. And such a body can engage in actions. That is told shariram karmane prabhavati. Iti karma sadhana bhutam shariram akshara samudbhavam. So the karma sadhana is the means for doing all the activities, the actions. Such a body is akshara samudbhavam. It is supported by the, it is due to the jivatma. Tasmat sarvagatam brahma. This is also very important meaning. Sarvagatam brahma means sarvadhikarigatam shariram is the meaning. Nityam yajna pratishtitam. Yajna moolam ityarthaha. Yajna pratishtitam means yajna moolam. It is having yajna as the root cause, root, at its root. So tasmat sarvagatam brahma, sarvadhikarigatam shariram. That is all the adhikaris, that is people who are eligible and capable of doing this yajna, and all their bodies, they are all the time engaged in performing the yajna. That is, they are all having yajna as the root for existence itself. That is what is the meaning. Evam paramapurushena pravartitam idam chakram. This chakra, and Bhashyakara shows it beautifully, the cycle, the circle that is happening very clearly here. The chakra which is paramapurushena pravartitam, which is brought into motion or use with Paramapurusha himself, the Supreme Lord. That chakra is like this. Annat bhuta shabda nirdishtani sajivani sharirani. From the food, the sajiva sharira, that is bodies which are having an individual self, that is living bodies, we can say, which are called by bhuta shabda. Bhuta shabda nirdishtani sajivani sharirani. Parjanyat annam, from the cloud, the rains, anna, food is grown. Yajnat parjanyaha, from yajna it is the clouds are formed. Yajnascha kartruvyapara rupat karmanaha, the yajna itself is by the activities of the doer and those actions. Karmacha sajivat sharirat, that such a activity is possible only by a person having a body. Sajivam sharirancha punarapi annat, such a body is grown only by food. So this is a chakra. So from food, the bhutas, the sajiva shariras are formed, and from the rains or the clouds or the rains, food is grown. From yajna, clouds are formed. From the activities of the doer, yajna is possible, and from the activities themselves are possible because of a person who is having a body. And again, the body is again maintained by food. So this is like a closed circle. Sajivam shariram cha punarapi annat. Iti anyonya karya karana bhavena chakravat parivartamanam. So they are having cause and effect relation mutually. In each of these, they are mutually having the karya karana bhava, that is cause effect relation. And they are like a chakravat parivartamanam. They are like a circle, they are like a wheel, they are going. Iha sadhane vartamano yaha karmayogadikari jnanayogadikari va na anuvartayati na pravartayati. So such a chakra, or the cycle of activities, events, one who is engaged in, one is a sadhaka, that is one who is adopted, who has adopted the means of karma yoga or jnana yoga, one is capable of doing that. Such a person, if he does not maintain this cycle, yajnashishtena dehadharanam akurvan, then his living will be done only by consuming food which is not offered to the Lord. So he becomes aghayuhu bhavati. His life will be full of sins only. Agharambhaya eva asya ayuhu. His whole life, his living, will be only for committing sins. Agha parinatam va, or it will be due to the sins, or ubhaya rupam va, or both. Iti saha aghayuhu. He is called aghayuhu. Ateva indriya ramo bhavati. That's why he will become only a person who will get joy by in the pleasures of the senses. Na atma ramaha. So indriya ramaha bhavati. The shloka shows indriya rama. The commentary is made clear. Indriya ramo bhavati na atma ramaha. Indriyani eva asya udyanani bhavanti. Arama means udyana, that is like a park where people go and enjoy. So it is indriyani eva udyanani bhavanti. That will be the place of enjoyment for him. Ayagnya shishta vardhita deha manastvena, having maintaining the body and mind, etc., without consuming food which is offered to the Lord. Udrikta rajas tamaskaha. What happens is the rajas and tamas will become very high, increased, and because of that, atmavalokana vimukhataya, he will be turned away from atmavalokana, that is the vision of the self, and vishaya bhogaikaratihi bhavati. He will only be interested or steeped in the enjoyments of the objects of the senses. Ataha jnana yogadau yatamanopi nishphala prayatnataya mogham partha sajivati. So even if such a person is trying to enter into jnana yoga, all his efforts will be wasted. Nishphala prayatnataya mogham partha. So he will not be able to achieve anything and his life will be wasted. That is the meaning of the Bhashya. And there are some detailed explanations in Tatparya Chandrika. We can see some of them. Punarapi loka drishtya shastra drishtya. The meanings already explained are again established with valid reasons here, and hence it is told as punarapi. Though from the worldly point of view, it is not possible to show that everything is depending on sacrifice, that is having sacrifice at its root, yajna, but still, including the view of the Shastras supported by worldly view, it is possible to show, and hence there is nothing wrong. So, and the aspects which are known from the worldly view as well as from Shastras are clearly differentiated. So, it is made clear that it is a duty to promote the sacrifices. It's not done. If it is not done, what is the defect is also going to be told. So, this the dhuma is also causing the parjanya, the clouds, is also told in other places. In Kalidasa's Megha Sandesha also he says Dhuma Jyoti Salila Marutam Sannipadah Kwa Megha. The Megha is made of Dhuma Jyoti Salila Marutam. He also mentions all these things. So it is well known from the Shastras and that it is the cause. Annat Sarvani Bhutani Bhavanti Parjanyacha Anna Sambhavaha iti Sarvaloka Sakshikam. It is well known that all beings live on food and food is obtained from the rains which are the effect of clouds. But what is not known from directly is that yajnat parjanyaha. That is not known. That can be known only from Shastra. Shastrena avagamyate agnau prastavutihi. That Pramana Bhashika argues. The clouds which give rains are formed from sacrifices is known from the Shastras only. The offering made in Agni reaches the Aditya. It's told in the Shastra. And Yajnascha Dravyarjanadi Kartru Purusha Vyapara Rupa Karma Samudbhavaha. The Mula Shloka says Karma Samudbhavaha. And it just says the word karma. And what is the meaning of karma? What is the meaning of Brahma? What is the meaning of all those things have to be akshara, because there is also the usage of akshara. So all these things have to be very properly explained. That is being done by in the commentary here. So it may karma samudbhaha means it may also mean karmas of the form of punya, papa, etc. But that is not the meaning here. The meaning of karma is dravyarjanadi kartrapurusha vyapara rupa karma samudbhava. So it is of the vyapara, it is all the activities that are done by the doer. So that is to be taken. So it is the meaning is taken in the primary sense itself here, karma. That is action, motion. So it is not through apurva, etc., that is created from yajna, as told by the Mimamsakas, which is also refuted by this. So by the word adi in dravyarjanadi, pachana, etc., are also included. Dravyarjanadi means dravyarjana, pachana, and all those things. Karma Brahmodbhavam. This is a very special meaning we need to understand very clearly, and Deshika justifies the usage, the meaning given by Bhashyakarar for the word Brahma in great detail here. The Mula Shloka simply says Karma Brahmodbhavam. How can karma, which are actions, which are the transactions of a doer, be told as born of Brahma or created from Brahma? The actions are either from the individual self or from the body, senses, etc. And here there is no need to mention that the common causal form of Brahman. Karma Brahmodbhavam means everything is, Brahma is the cause of everything. So is it told in that sense that Brahman is the cause of everything? That is also not relevant here. So if Brahma here means Paramatman or the individual self, then both are eternal entities. So Brahma cannot mean either Paramatman or Jivatma here, because they are both eternal, and Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam is told next. That means that is there is a cause for this also is being told, which means that eternality will be lost if we give a meaning like that, then it will become more difficult to explain. So there can be no cause for these called Akshara, so it cannot be either of them. So the meaning given for Brahma as Veda and Akshara as Paramatman in Shankara Bhashya is also not accepted here. So for Brahma, meaning given is Veda, and for Akshara it is given as Paramatman in Shankara Bhashya. That is not accepted. Our Bhashya in different meaning, which is according to the context. I'm sorry, I seem to be having some intermittent disturbances in the network today. इह अपि मम योनिः महद्ब्रह्मा इति vakshyate. So in the 14th chapter in Bhagavad Gita here, also the word Brahma is used to mean So I think there are intermittent disturbances in the network today. Seems to be, I don't know. Okay. So we are looking at Akshara, the meaning of the word Akshara, here meaning Jivatma. The pramanas for that, Charam Pradhanam Amrita Aksharam Haraha is in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. There it says Aksharam Haraha. Haraha is Jivatma, is addressed by the word Akshara there. Kutasto Akshara Uchate is told even in here in Bhagavad Gita itself. So there also Jivatma is called by the name Akshara. So that is a justification for the pramanas for that. Annapanadina tripta akshara dhishtitam shariram karmane prabhavati. The cause-effect kind of relation told in the Mula Shloka is Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam. The body is not fully under the control of the Jivatman. The body is supported by the individual self who gets satisfaction by consuming food, drink, etc. So the body engages in actions. That is the meaning. Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam means it is not totally created completely by the Jivatman. So it is given, and it is he consumes food and it grows and it is supported by the individual self who gets satisfaction by consuming the food. Iti karma sadhana bhutam shariram akshara samudbhavam. So it is not mere body which is told to be created by Jivatman, but the meaning of karma brahmodbhavam is karma sadhana bhutam. That is, the body is the instrument using with which actions are performed. So the body becomes an instrument for actions only because it is supported by the self. So karma sadhana bhutam shariram. And the Jivatma gets strength to support the body only by consuming the food. And so the body which is qualified as being an instrument of action is due to it being supported by Jivatman, and it is told as Akshara Samudbhavam. So the Karya Karana Bhava is made clear that it is everywhere. It is not direct cause and effect relationship like that, but it has to be taken in some aspect of being the cause and effect. So Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Sarvadikarigatam Shariram Nityam Yajnaya Pratishtitam Yajnamulam Ityartaha. So the Kartavya of the Jivatma, who has to abide by the Shastra in order to maintain this chakra, circular chain, is told. So the body which is present for all Jivas who have not just the eligibility for doing Karma Yoga but also Jnana Yoga, Sarvadikarigatam. So that body is to be engaged in performance of the Yajna always, meaning it is having sacrifice as the root, at the root. So it has to be maintained only by consuming food which is offered to the Paramapurusha. And Evam Paramapurushena Pravartitam. Again it is made clear that what was told in Sahayajne Praja Srishtva and Devan Bhavayatanena, all these shlokas are being done by none other than Paramapurusha. Evam Paramapurushena Pravartitam. So he only is the cause for all these things. And Idam Chakram Annat Bhuta Shabda Nirdishtani Sajivani Sharirani. The chakra is being told by being shown by Bhashyakara here. The word Bhutani does not mean the Mahabhutas, just the elements. It is not that. As Anna, which is an effect, is not the cause of the elements. And not the Bhuta told along with the other usages like Bhuta, Vetala, etc. It is not that also. And it does not even mean the mere body, because food is consumed to grow the body. Body grows from food only if there is a Jivatma there. So otherwise the food which is left like that will just decay. It will just deteriorate. It will not be. It will not cause a body to be formed. Only when it is consumed by a Jivatman, and his body will grow. So that is why it is told Sajivani Sharirani. It is not that a Sharira without a Jiva. Sajivani Sharirani. That is the important meaning here. And food helps create a body only if it is supported by a Jivatman. And also the word Sharira has other meanings where the causality of Anna does not happen. And the meaning of Sharira is very wide. That is Sharira, Shariri Bhava and all is established where it is controlled, supported and all those things. So it may not be all the cases where the Anna being the cause like that. And so it is not also not mere Jivatman who is by nature eternal. So Sajivani Sharirani is given here to give a specific meaning for that Bhutani. So that is why it is told as Sajivani Sharirani. Jiva Vishishta Achit Parinama Vishesha is the actual meaning of that. Sajivani Sharirani. Bhutani means Jiva Vishishta Achit Parinama Vishesha Sharira. That is the meaning. Parjanyat Annam Yajnat Parjanyaha Yajnascha Kartruvyapara Rupat Karmanaha Karmacha Sajivat Sharirat Sajivam Shariram Cha Punaha api annat iti anyonya karya karana bhavena chakravat parivartamanam. The word chakra is upacharika here. It is seen like a circle. So that is shown as a chakra. From food, the bodies having jivatman are formed. Food is created from rains, from the clouds, clouds from the sacrifice or yajnas, sacrifice from the actions of the doer, actions from the body having a jivatman, body with jivatman again from food. So this is the closest, the circle closes there. Thus there exists a mutual cause-effect relation among them, and they form a cycle. So it's a complete circle it is. So the cause-effect relation is not that they are directly the cause or effect in each link, but keeping in mind some aspect of being the cause and effect. So it could be directly or paramparaya, that is through something else in between. The usage of the word chakra is also upacharika. In a worldly sense, the chain of events happen in a circular fashion like a wheel. That is the meaning. And Nanu Vartayati Yaha, the Mula Shloka has just Yaha. Yaha Sadhane Vartamano Yaha is the meaning here. So it's not that any person who is living, it is according to the context qualified as Sadhane Vartamano Yaha, because such a person is being meant here. Who is the address being addressed here? He is one who is doing the sadhana. A sadhaka is being addressed here. Karma yogadikari, jnana yogadikari va. Na anuvartayati, na pravartayati. The Mula Shloka has na anuvartayati. The word anuvartayati may also mean just making it happen without directly involving in it. So through permitting such a thing, so one who gets these things done by somebody else, not directly involving, etc., that is also not the meaning here. So it is told as pravartayati. In na anuvartana is told as pravartana in the Bhashya. So the sadhaka's direct involvement is implied. So it is not just mere anumantrutva but pravartakatva. That is also made clear in the Bhashya. Yajnashishtena dehadharanam akurvan saha aghayuhu bhavati agharambhaya eva asya ayuhu agaparinatam va uvayarupam va sa aghayuhu. Ateva indriya ramo bhavati na atma ramaha indriyani eva asya udyanani bhavanti. That is the meaning given here. The significance of the usage of the word bhavati 3 times is explained by Swami Deshika, that there is a bhavati, the 3 times it is used. One is that ateva indriya ramo bhavati. One is akurvan saha aghayuhu bhavati, indriya ramo bhavati. And then Vishayika Bhogaratihi Bhavati. Very clearly Bhashikara says 3 times, explained by Deshika as Aghayuhu, Indriya Ramaha, Mogam Jivati, are explained as 3 separate calamities, and the earlier defects or causes of subsequent ones. To indicate this, the word Bhavati is used thrice. So Aghayuhu, the inclusion of word Ayuhu in this indicates that the connection of the life of such a person with sins is in 3 ways. It will be the cause of sins, or will be an effect of sins, or both. These are the 3 ways. That is told in the Bhashya as agharambhaya eva bhavati, aga parinatam va, ubhaya rupam va. All these 3 are told. So atayeva indriya ramo bhavati. Atayeva means because of being an aghayu, as told, he becomes one who is steeped in the enjoyment of senses. Arama means udyana, or like a park. Senses are the place where he finds joy and not in Atman. So that is I'll just take a couple of more minutes. This is the last sentence there. Ayagnya shishta vardhita deha manastvena udrikta rajastamaskaha atmavalokana vimukataya vishayabhogaika ratihi bhavati. One gets a doubt, how can senses become the place of joy? The answer is given as the summary of evam pravartitam chakram till indriya ramaha. That is, because he lives with the food which is not offered to the Lord, his tamas and rajas will become very high, and his mind turns away from the meditation of the Atman, and he becomes steeped in the enjoyment of the objects of sense only. Ataha, for the reason that such a person is deeply immersed in enjoyment of sense objects only, jnana yogadau yatamanopi nishpala prayatnateya mogham partha sajivati. The word saha is related to yaha and applies to one who is actually trying to start jnana yoga also. And such a person also will not be able to achieve the means, and his life will be wasted, as his efforts will be wasted. So that is the meaning of the Bhashya. So that concludes the Anna Chakra explanation and the special meanings given for the words Brahma, Akshara, Karma, and all these, which is very significant in our Siddhanta. And in the next class, we shall take up the next few shlokas. Yasto atmaratireva syad atmatruptascha manavaha atmanyeva cha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. And naiva tasya kritena artho na kriteneha kaschana nachasya sarvabhuteshu kaschid arthavyapashrayah. Tasmat asaktaha satatam karyam karma samachara. Asakto hi acharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. Karmanaiva avayahi sansiddhim asthita janakadeyaha lokasangraham api sampashyan kartumarati. All these few next 4 or 5 shlokas we can take up for study in the next class. So I am sorry, today we had some few disturbances. I do not know why it happened, but some network disturbances were there. So with that, I shall conclude today's session. And if there are any questions and answers, I shall leave the class. Thank you very much. So if there are no questions, we shall conclude today's session. Thank you very much. rAmAnuja Namaha. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.